I decided to write it because, as far as I was concerned, it was vital, because the shock was such that I found myself in a situation where I didn't feel well, so I began to write. And as I was writing, the writing did me good. And of course, I could have also not published that book, and I could have simply put it away in a drawer. But when one's lived through what I lived through, in other words, a sort of planetary humiliation, you need to make sure that the planet understands you.
You're clearly very angry, anguished in the book. Some might say, though, that that's a naive reaction. You both came from other relationships and you replaced another long-term partner, Ségolène Royal.
Yes, possibly I was naive to think that story that I lived through with Francois Hollande was exceptional, but I believed in it, and I would certainly have preferred a different end to this one.
How much do you think your book has contributed to Francois Hollande's unpopularity?
In no way whatsoever, because you could just look at the results of the municipal elections that were well before the book, and the results of the Socialist Party were appalling.
So why is he so unpopular? His ratings have dropped again this weekend.
Well, I've never had as many people who are unemployed. I have a brother who's unemployed at the moment, and when he went to the job centre, they said, don't bother to come, you don't need to bother. So how can those people not be disappointed? They're not disappointed because of my book. They're simply disappointed because they just don't have the responses to their requests, because during the campaign, a number of promises were made, and they're not kept today.
So has Monsieur Hollande failed as a president?
I'll leave him the possibility of succeeding in the 2 years to come, and I would be happy. I must tell you, I would be happy for France if he were to succeed in the 2 coming years.
You would vote for him again?
If he's the left-wing candidate, yes, because I am left-wing and I still remain left-wing.
And yet you have written about Francois Hollande that he has been contemptuous about the poor. I think you said he described the poor as toothless.
Yes. I also say in the book that it's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, he said this on a number of occasions, but he said it as a joke. But nevertheless, it does reveal something when you talk about people in that way.
When you were in the Élysée, you write that you felt isolated and perhaps badly treated as France's First Lady. How do you think things should change in the treatment of the president's partner?
I believe that today one has to make a choice. Francois Hollande, he himself affirmed that there would no longer be a First Lady. That was his choice. We'll see if he keeps to that commitment. But either there'll be a First Lady and you give her the means to be a First Lady. But the situation in France is not clear. The First Lady is reproached for using colleagues, but at the same time, a certain number of things are expected of her. So either give her means of working, or else there's no longer a First Lady.
Do you think there is a fundamental sexism in French politics right at the top?
Yes, absolutely. I think that, in fact, French politics is very macho, very sexist, and I've got a lot of admiration for French women who are in politics, because it's very difficult. On a number of occasions, I've been at meetings, and when a French politician, woman politician, tries to speak, men interrupt her straight away, and they don't listen to her, and they just turn their heads and they talk amongst themselves. I have seen this on a number of occasions.
As you said, you have followed politics for many, many years as a journalist, in the Élysée. Would you run for political office?
No, never. Never.
Never is a strong word.
Never. But I'm happy to say it 10 times if you'd like me to. Never, because after all, it's a world that's too difficult, it's too violent, and in which you have to have too many compromises and you have to renounce too many things.
You say early in the book, Valerie, that you didn't want to let Francois Hollande go. He was the love of your life. Do you still love him?
I can't answer that question because I don't know myself.